Candy.
Hi, Jen. How are you, my girl?
I'm well. How are you, my darling?
I'm doing good, although we're missing two of our girls, two of our chicks.
We are. I made one take a night off, and the other one is working hard for money. She's working hard for money. All right, I'll stop singing, everybody. So, everyone, we'd like to introduce you guys once again to Chris Heidel. And Chris, I'm going to kindly remind you that we will not be discussing felines this evening.
I'm sure it's in the studio.
Good. I'm glad you're not there.
I was gonna bring Garfield out. So
What did I just say? And Adam, we are thrilled to have you back. So everybody, Chris and Adam were my partners in crime last week, along with a few other people. And and Candy is always covering Miami. She covers some FSU. So because as we know, Candy has her other show on that other network that's not as cool as ours, South Florida Tribune. But Candy is coolest of cool. So
thank you. I don't know. I'm partly the owner of the South Florida Tribune, so
I know, but hey.
We promote each other. Let's put it that way.
I love you guys. But for those who don't know, Chris owns Herb FM Radio out of Maryland, and he and I and Adam met at an ACC press conference when I had a major coughing fit, and I'm sitting next to these two dudes, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious.
I thought you were gonna go down, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I gonna do if this chick out next to me?
Rephrase how you just said that, please, sir.
I
am married.
It's called, folks. We all met at Charlotte. You know, it was the 2023 ACC football championship game press conference between Florida State and Louisville, and the rest is history.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
And both coaches handed me bottles of water because I was having a massive cough. And he thought I was going to die. Not the other. Don't get us demonetized when we don't even make money yet. But so last week, go ahead, Candy.
I was going to ask you, what does it mean to go to ACC kickoff? Because that's where you guys all were last week. What does that mean? What does that look like?
I will say this. For me, last week, ACC kickoff was the best one I've had. I've been to like 5 or 6. But what that is it's all of the ACC schools. So all 17 schools, because we added 3 schools last year, converge upon Charlotte, and all the media, podcast hosts, everyone, like all of us, we get to go talk to some of the players. We get to talk to the coaches. We get to talk to former players, former NFL athletes, former head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We people from scouting companies. We get to talk to some agents. We get to talk to everybody, and it's awesome, and it's fun, and it's unique because, and we're going to get this, we were a front row view of the war of the words between Coach O'Brien of BC and Castellanos, the new quarterback at FSU. And so we got to see that front and center. We got to hear the rumors of UNC joining the SEC being shot down front and center. Although more and more rumors are coming out.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. I put it on a polling question on the Twitter page, and 18 people voted, and 16 people said they're going to the SEC. And I think that's unheard for, because
I wasn't asked. Were you?
No, I wasn't asked. But TJ, our friend from Double Slaw, no fries, the Florida State guy, he was talking about it on his Twitter page, and I'm like, dude, they're not going to leave the ACC, because if you do, who's going to take their spot? That's the problem here. You got everybody.
You look at their history in the ACC. It's like if they leave, it's like, I mean,
it's like the New York Mets leaving the National League East and going to the Japan League, and everybody else is like, huh? You're a charter member of the ACC. You should be, you should be fine. And yes, I understand everybody's complaining about this whole lawsuit between Florida State and Clemson. And well, if you're having a problem,
but it's settled.
How would you sue them too? How about that if you have a problem?
Yeah, because honestly, there were rumors about UNC joining the lawsuit, but that got quashed.
Well, because I think the problem. I think Florida State was the first one to act on it, and then Clemson came by later, going, "Oh, we want to do the same thing. Can we join?" Yeah,
So
and
what,
then yeah,
right. Well, I mean, and they're mad because I don't even understand. I guess they didn't want to travel across the country. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. Plus TV market share rights and
I get it.
XYZ.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
I get that the schools need to make money,
Yeah.
but
Well, I get it.
you're a public university. Why are you so concerned about the bottom dollar? Like, I'm sorry, because at some point you're taken away from the I think we lost Adam for a minute.
Yeah,
but at some point we're taken away
I think
from
the internet's been shaky
higher
in this place
education
these days. I think the
Sorry
internet.
about my internet.
Yeah, I think the
Alright.
internet's been like with all the heat and all that stuff. I think the infrastructures have no idea what to do with the internet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm here.
Yes, let's pray for fall weather. How about that? Let's pray.
It's gonna be 70 degrees here in North Carolina this
I
weekend.
know. It's like I'm
It's
looking at
about
the
time.
temperature today when I'm driving in my van. It was like 100 degrees. I'm like, can I get to 70 one of these days?
Yeah, that's why y'all see the fan in the back of my house.
Well,
Our
I have no
back
fan up
right
here.
now.
Yeah, but I have central air, and no offense, central air conditioning. It's a real thing, not the crap from the 50s. It's terrible.
Right.
Yeah, like at night we look like we're. Nothing against people. I know people in Puerto Rico because I know people, but it was like Nicole and I were like buckled down in one room and looked like we could just have people coming over and look like one of those families. Like 6 or 7 of them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have central air too. It's just hot. It's been hotter than Hades. But Candy lives in South Florida, so we can't really complain that much. But let's get back to the topic.
Candy, you're dealing with like the heat index of 101 the last 5 or 110. Yeah, but you're down near Miami. You're actually cooler than Orlando. That's right. In the heat index, that's kind of the other way around. It should be hotter than Orlando. But
no, she gets the ocean breeze.
Yeah.
But,
or all the hot air from Epcot, probably. I'm just kidding.
So I'm going to direct us back, and I want Candy to take the lead real quick on Miami because, as you guys don't know, Candy and her husband Scott do almost all the games for the Miami Hurricanes. Cool. And she was not with us live. Hopefully next year she will be. But she was watching Miami's ACC conferences online, and then I shot her some stuff too. So not as much but as I should have. But I'm going to let Candy take the lead and let her tell us what she thinks of the changes, NIL, all that good stuff.
Well, let's face it. Miami no longer has the number 1 draft pick because he is now a Tennessee Titan. Mm-hmm. So moving on from Cam Ward to Carson Beck. Will there be a drop-off or not? Now, the biggest question I think coming out of it is how does he gel with the team knowing that he's coming off a serious injury and hasn't had as much time to really practice with them because of that injury? He wasn't healthy when he first got here. So I think that'll be very interesting. There's a number of receivers that are no longer with us, so I think the team is going to look very different. There are some returners. Obviously, there's some linemen, and they're linemen and defensive linemen. Ruben Bain Jr., he's up for watch list for an award. Francis Magao and Anez Cooper, they're all, and let's face it, Carson Beck is still on the list for the Maxwell Award because they're still predicting him to do really, really well. The one thing I will say is we covered the Canes right before Cristobal came into picture. He has brought a culture about him that the guys are buying into. And I love it because I think part of it is because he's an alum. And I think that really brings a sense of camaraderie and like, here I want to do it for the school. And I think the team buys into that too. And they are very much a team. You don't see some of these, they might have big heads, but they don't show it. If you know what I mean, like that cockiness.
Right. Like you keep your ego on the field.
Right. They have
Well-
confidence. And there's a difference between confidence and ego.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, I
Correct.
think I got to say something. My brother Will's a big Miami Hurricane fan since the days of when they had 25 penalties against the Texas Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl, when somebody took somebody's leg and started playing the guitar on it. And I've been hearing all of it because I've been hearing it ever since my childhood. You know, Miami is not the Miami that we saw when we were kids growing up. Miami was really dangerous to play in the Orange Bowl. Okay, and the problem with Miami is they need their own stadium. Okay, the Hard Rock Cafe Stadium or Pro Player or whatever the heck you want to call it today is so far away from the campus, Candy, that all the student body has to hop on buses to get to the stadium. And it's not like here in Towson. I could go to the Towson football game and you got all the kids running, walking from the dorms to the football stadium. And I think they need to do is they have this stadium down there for the Marlins that they don't use during the wintertime. Use it.
No.
But
No.
yeah,
No,
that's
no,
the
no, no,
Orange
no,
Bowl.
no.
That's the
Do
old
not
Orange Bowl.
move. No. Because that is in such a poor neighborhood. The
Okay.
Marlins are so poor that they won't get fans. You
Okay.
keep it at Hard Rock, and I get Hard Rock is in a much better area.
Okay.
I agree with you though that it would be nice if it were closer. Let me say this. It would be nicer for the students if it were closer.
Right.
But Coral Gables is so far south that us that live up north might not make that travel down. Whereas in Miami Gardens, it's a little further north, so the people that are north can come, and the people that are south, they take buses. They bus them out from the campus to the stadium.
Right.
I get they don't have room to put a stadium on campus.
Okay.
They just don't have the room.
Yeah. Well, how much room you got down in Florida? You got really nothing, no more room in it at all. But I was looking at it because when they built, Marlins Ballpark, that's the old Orange Bowl, and I feel like that's sacred ground. Because that's where all the legends, like Joe Namath winning the Super Bowl, Super Bowl III, and all the great Miami teams that with Helen Stecklenburger, and all those people winning it, when I was a kid, Candy, I was afraid to watch a Miami game because they used to come out with a tunnel with the smoke, and I knew when they came out of that tunnel with the smoke, you're going to be in a problem today,
Right.
because Miami used to have that swagger, walk in there like we're going to kill you, we're going to knock your head off, just like Jimmy Johnson did. Like, boys, let's play the game, let's knock some heads off, Yeah.
Correct.
But now I feel like to me with Mario, this is my opinion. I don't see that a lot. Like last year was more like Cam Ward, we're going to try to get you the number one pick in the NFL draft. We're just going to let you air it out. And that's not Miami. Miami's a run game. You guys have a running back from North Dakota State that played Towson last year here. And Coach Shimrick, who we have on the show, he said that boy is hard to tackle. He got his yards. But, here's the thing. That is the SBS level. Now you're going to play in the ACC, and you're playing in Miami with the heat and humidity. How are you going to adjust yourself to that ground game? And Miami had great running backs, Adam and Jen. They had Clinton Portis.
You've got to consider, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, they had Clinton
A
Portis.
lot of schools will have heat and humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Look at every single school at North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi.
Yeah, I
Texas.
get it. But during
New Mexico, Arizona, you're not going to have the humidity.
Yeah.
But you go into Vegas, you go to UNLV. UNLV has the humidity, but that's more man-made humidity. Like, I don't know if that's possible, but kind of.
Well, they got dry heat out there, But I'm talking about.
But in Vegas proper, you've got a lot of humidity.
Well, a lot of teams that you see during the football season, and Candy, you probably see it, like early in the year, everybody's on the same page, when they go to Miami because of the heat and humidity. But if you see teams like Duke and all that stuff coming down in November or late October, early November, or Florida State, the humidity sometimes is really bad down there. So they're not, and you saw Notre Dame when they came down there years ago to play Miami on November, they got ran out of Hard Rock Stadium because I think the humidity is something different for people from the north coming down for a weekend. And
they cramp. They do. But Chris, I would argue with you and say I think the game as a whole has changed, and it's not as much run emphasis, and that's every school, not just Miami.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have that quarterback to be mobile, like Jordan Travis used to come out and run around. And I'm sorry, the guy we're going to talk about Florida State. I think the Florida State quarterback who came at Boston College looks similar to Jordan Travis.
Castellanos, yeah.
Because, and I was trying to get Mike Norvell to understand that because I did some research and compared both of them.
I love that you were trying to get Mike Norvell to understand that, by the way.
Yeah, because I sat there watching it because when Jordan Travis was quarterback, you saw it, Candy. He rolled out and get out of the pocket and he uses his legs. Last year we had DJ Hooga Booga, whatever his name is, from Clemson, who is a pocket passer. Mike Norvell's offense is a mobile type quarterback that gets out of the pocket and you can shoot down the field 10, 15 yards to get a pass, or you can use your legs. And that's what's wrong with Florida State last year. We couldn't run the football with the quarterback because that's a pocket quarterback. And I was trying to get Mike to understand that you need somebody who's mobile, just like Jordan Travis, to get out of the pocket. So, and he was like, I think he was surprised about the question I sent him, but I think he realized that I'm trying to understand that, Jordan Travis is now going to be that centerpiece of Florida State football from now until eternity, under Mike Norvell. And everybody's going to try to figure out can he find a replacement, because Jordan was basically his quarterback when he came down from Memphis. So, sorry, I off topic, but I'm sorry, but it was just
you're fine.
Related. We're good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying with
Miami,
Miami, Carson Beck, yes, he played in the SEC title game a couple of years, won a national championship, but he got run out. Somehow he just left Athens, Georgia, to go down to Miami. And he looked like one of those Miami Vice guys from, Don Johnson with the gold chain. And, I'm like, okay, big guy, what's going on over there? The big gold green shirt there. But I think he's going to be okay. But the problem is, can he adapt to Mario's system better than Kirby Smart's system? And they played Notre Dame the first week of the year. And Marcus Freeman is doing a great job in Notre Dame. And that's going to be a really tough game for them because, Notre Dame does not have Al Golden as their defensive coordinator. Are they going to have the same same sets and all that stuff, or Monday night, Saturday night, or was it Sunday night, the 31st?
Sunday.
Is it going to be like the Labor Day games from old between Florida State and Miami, 13-7, because everybody doesn't know what they're doing right now? So anyway,
knowing that it is the first game of the season, you never know, because you don't know how these guys, because let's face it, with all the transfer portal there is now, that first game of the season, you never know how all of the teams are going to look and how they're going to gel, because they all have new players on their teams.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of the transfer portal, here's a question. And this should have been asked last week, but I didn't do it. But maybe I'll do it at a press or like at a game or something this year. However, do y'all think that the transfer portal has kind of hurt college fandom from an adult level? Like, if you're a student at the school, you're obviously a fan. You're obviously going to go to the games. I mean, and 98% of the situation, there's going to be 2% of the people who are like, I'm not at the school I want to be at. But do you think that the transfer portal and not having like someone to steadily, Boston College has had a lot of people kind of stay the same. Now we're going to get into Castellanos and Bill O'Brien in a minute. But
I didn't hear about I heard about the beef.
Oh, dude.
I don't think it's a big beef.
Yeah, Castellanos broke out some big words too.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big beef about it. I think to me is.
But do y'all think that's affected like fandom from maybe your people who didn't go to college and were a fan of, I don't know, any random school, and then they're going to like UNC. So a lot of kids growing up in North Carolina wanted to go to UNC.
Yeah.
UNC does not obviously accept everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll go to State, Wake, Elon, ECU, App, places like that. But basically, if you want to go to App, you're going to App.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. And same with WCU. Yes. Right, Adam?
Oh, yeah.
That appreciation, that's where you're going to go.
Oh,
right.
Oh, yeah.
So my question is, do we think that the transfer portal has affected that?
I think it has.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. And it's like, I mean, you look at, I mean, if your favorite player transfers, I mean, you're going to have to, regarding merchandise, you're going to have to get all new gear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that costs a lot of money. And it's like, you'll still watch, you'll watch, I don't know if you watch the previous school he was at, but you will watch the school he's at now. I mean, it's
right. Because you've got that
crazy.
high school guy, or that was your buddy, or your ex-boyfriend, or your crush, or whatever, you know? Yeah, you're gonna obviously change allegiances.
Yeah, and it's like, it's like, I'll use an example. Tate Rodemaker, he was a quarterback at Florida State. He transferred over to Southern Miss. He is now He is now a quarterback at Western Carolina University in Callaway. So it's like, if you're a fan of his, you will now buy Western Carolina gear. Mean you've had, so it's like,
so rooted for that team, and you never rooted for him.
Yeah, and it's like,
And Adam, I agree with that. We talked about this last night. That
it's called. We think it's called. Chris and I talked about this on our show last night. We think the next thing is free agency, like the NFL.
It could be. Could be.
I mean, you could trade players in the regular season. I mean, it's like,
to get that money back.
I don't know, Candy, Jen, do you guys agree that the next thing coming regarding all of this is free agency?
I mean, I kind of feel like we kind of have that with NIL and transfer portal.
I'm just saying it could be. Never know. We didn't think NIL was going to be this problem and it needs to be capped, because we will talk about this, Jen and Adam, last week getting pizza on Thursday. What if you're a small school like Rice or Towson or Temple?
Oh, Rice isn't a good one though, because Rice is a small school, but it's
I'm talking about
Rice, Tulane, you kind of put those together.
Yeah, we're gonna have, and Candy, you're probably gonna see this, and you're probably gonna have super mega schools like North Carolina, like Miami, like Florida State, the people who could actually get the money that they need, and teams like Towson and Temple and all the other schools would be like, oh, we're over here. Hi.
Right.
Yeah. You want to come to high school? We're in Philadelphia. And I feel bad for Coach Keeler from Temple, who we know that he has a.
Yeah, but if you're willing to go to school in Pennsylvania from Baltimore, like, when you prefer to go to Pitt?
Well, a lot of people
or
in Maryland. It's funny, we're having problems here in the state of Maryland, because I really secretly think, and my mom and I agree with this, I think Maryland needs to move back to the ACC just for football only. Because they're more.
They're not going to, and will the ACC take them back?
Well, I don't know. They could do a football only thing, like Notre Dame, and be in the ACC, football, and just stay in basketball for the Big Ten, because they do really well in Big Ten for women's basketball and men's basketball. Football, they've been trying for 10 years to catch up to the Notre Dame, the Penn States and the Ohio States and the Michigans. And if you're a kid here in the state of Maryland, do you want to go to College Park that's 45 minutes down the road, or do you want to go to some awesome school that, they're going to be on national TV a lot? They're going to be, hopefully playing for
because when Maryland left the ACC, they dropped off.
Yeah.
However,
that's true.
I want to say this because we did bring up the Maxwell Award list. Mm-hmm. So Pitt actually had a dual tandem duo get nominated, and that's Desmond Reed and Eli Holston. Eli's the quarterback, and Desmond is the running back. Also, SMU, who was the second best in the ACC last year, has had what's his name? Kevin Jennings was named to the Maxwell Award list too. So I mean, there's a lot going on. Also, for those, check out our YouTube page, everybody, because if y'all remember the SMU scandal, I actually had the opportunity to sit down with Craig James last week, and so Chris and Adam did as well. And they Craig and Eric are bringing back the Pony Express Award, but Eric and Craig were also part of the scandal. However, they've obviously
Well, nowadays, like we're talking
now
about,
it's fine.
Yeah. Now, if what happened back in '85 when SMU had got to get terminated, or they called it death penalty. If this was going back in 1985, you will have SMU from 1985 already into a normal conference, and we won't be talking about them moving to the ACC. They probably would have been in ACC. They probably would have been in, or the SEC or something. And that death penalty basically ruined that entire college.
100%.
It took them like years to get back to where they belong, and Craig James is really happy to where they are. Yes, he was part. Yes, he was part of the problem because Eric Dickerson used to got a nice Trans Am when he signed with SMU, and kind of people wonder where that. And he said his mom gave it to him. Sure, okay, buddy. Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? He did some of the Trans Am. Now he's got a couple other really nice cars.
Well,
But
it was really cool to talk to Craig James and Charlotte.
Okay, we gotta let Katie go in a second, but I wanted her to hit on FSU real fast if she has time.
No, I mean we could talk a little bit. Yeah, I mean FSU obviously they've gone through some changes too. Like every program has new, almost all of them have new quarterbacks, right? Like who stays anymore?
Right.
I mean, honestly, out of the whole conference, is there any quarterback that's returning from last year?
No.
Well, except for Jennings. Jennings is the only one coming back from last year, and he's on SMU. But everybody else they have new quarterbacks or.
Well, why wouldn't he come back either? Honestly, he has something to prove.
Right.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that was an amazing and epic comeback. You guys heard my convo with Coach Lashley. So Candy, did you hear about the controversy between
Please tell
Coach
me.
O'Brien and Castellanos? Okay.
No, tell
so
me.
as everybody knows, Castellanos was the quarterback for BC last year. So in the offseason, he was injured a little bit, but then he was the starting quarterback. When I chatted with him last year, he was totally in love with Coach O'Brien. He's like, best thing that's ever happened in my career. I'm learning a lot, blah, blah, blah. Now, I do not know. And I went back and watched the video. I'm like, was he being sincere or is it smoke and mirrors? Because this year, he's obviously at FSU. And he and Coach O'Brien from BC kind of had a, war of the words because Coach O'Brien was like, we told him to come back and fight because he got injured in the first or second game last year. So he lost his starting position. And he came back and they wouldn't give him back his starting position. So BC's quarterback stayed the same, actually, from Castellanos going out. However, Castellanos, and so Bill O'Brien said, we gave him love. We told him we wanted him to come back and fight for his position, compete for it. And that's what coaches want. Coaches are always going to want you to compete for your job. Every single day is a job interview. I don't care if you're a banker like Candy and I, if you're running Publix like a boss like Adam is, if you're running half of Baltimore like Chris is, like every single day is a interview. You always have to compete for your job. I don't care who you are, especially in this day and age. That being said, Castellanos came back and said, only the coaches, my legal representation, and my parents know exactly what was said in that room. So based on confidentiality, legal reasons, we will, this is all I'm saying. Something along those lines. And I'm like, is there a lawsuit in the works?
Maybe.
Because those were pretty, and though, I mean, that's like written down because I didn't hear him say that, but that's being printed by everybody. So like it's all over my feed. So it's pretty, but I liked Castellanos. I hope he does a good job for FSU. I like James because honestly, BC
Yeah.
was the surprise team of the ACC last year.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, and I'll stand by that because BC's BC. But BC also had the highest amount of people go into the NFL draft and get drafted this year that they have had in a very long time. Had 6, including my favorite player, but I'll be nice because I never hit him up to come on my show. But our show. Sorry, Candy. Candy, what else did you want to discuss?
No, I think it's really interesting that that Castellanos, he actually is born. He's from Miami.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
So,
I did
and
know
he
that.
played for UCF back in 2022, and then Boston College 23 to 24, and now Florida State. It's kind of funny because typically when and I shouldn't say this, but when you're born in Miami, like either you have a love-hate relationship and you're going to pick one of the Florida schools and you're going to love it and you're going to hate all the other ones because you can't love all of them if you're from this area. It's funny because I mean, I was not born in Florida. I moved to Florida how many years ago? But it's funny. You pick one school. Either you're a Gator fan, you're a Hurricane fan, or you're a Seminole fan. And you can't be a fan of more than one.
Sure of that?
Yeah, I agree. I was born, I'm here in Maryland, and my brother, grew up watching Miami, when he was a kid. And then I was like looking for a football team, and Adam knows the story. I went downstairs to my basement and turned on the old TV with the little turn to do the old USF channels. And it was an old TV. And I turned it on. It was 1990 at the time. It was the Blockbuster Bowl between Florida State and Penn State. And I'm like, okay. And the quarterback for Florida State was Casey Weldon. And I was a big Joe Montana fan because I loved Montana when I was a kid. Yes, he went to Notre Dame. It's okay. He went to Notre Dame. I give that a pass because he's my idol. I enjoy him, and I have a Notre Dame jersey with his number because, it's Montana. But
right.
But I looked at him. I was like, this guy looks like Montana. And my mom said right after that game was over, your room changed from just you start decorating everything in Florida State gear because you just fell in love with the quarterback, and then and Bobby Bowden was the coach, and it was Rick Pitino, it was Joe Pa versus Bobby Bowden, and they would have had a rematch later in their career. That was 2003. That was the epic Orange Bowl that went to 3 overtimes, and we got screwed. But anyway, it was still a great game. But it was like, and after that, I started rooting for Florida State, and my brother Will's a Miami fan, and then I got a little brother who's not little anymore, started watching Florida because I asked him, do you like the colors? Because if you look at the colors, it's Met colors, blue and orange. Yeah. And he goes, no, I just liked the team when I was a kid because I was looking for something to go along with you guys because you're watching Florida State and Miami, and those Florida State and Miami, Florida Miami games were pretty brutal in my house. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. My brother Matt kind of went, bonkers after it was a typical Florida Auburn game, and we don't talk about this game. And my brother Will goes, watch this, they'll come back and win it. And Auburn beat them. And my brother Matt chased them around the house for like 15, 20 minutes with stuff that we don't want to talk about on the air. And kind of like, it was like, whoa, okay, big guy. Yeah, it's just a game. But he's passionate about it, and and now he has 2 kids, and I'm trying to corrupt one of them into a Florida State person. But
like the uncle you are, Chris.
Yes, my niece, when she was like 4 or 5, I had my little Florida State. It was cold out, and I brought it up, and I said, she's like, I like your hat. Can I put it on there? I'm like, yeah, you can. Go ahead. Yeah, and I took a picture of it. I still have it on my phone. I sent it to my brother. Like, yeah. And he texted me back. He texted me back, I will kill you. I'm like, why? And he goes, you're corrupting my child. I'm like, that's the whole purpose of being an uncle, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just make him a Panthers fan. He'll be fine.
Yeah, but
all right, guys. I'm sorry.
Guys,
Katie has to hit it. I'm actually going to be joining her tonight for a little bit. We did not cover as many games as our teams as we wanted to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quick round robin. Candy, what was the biggest thing you took away from the coverage you were able to watch from kickoff?
Just that Miami really wants to bring back the team, the concept and the culture of Miami. And I think that's really important to Mario. And I think he's trying to instill that in all the the team.
Fair. Adam.
Well, I'll say this. I enjoyed being run Riverboat Ron, Craig James, all
Why you gotta steal mine?
Well, I'm sorry. But it's like, hearing Coach Norval like a preacher.
Oh my God, I feel like I was in church. Yeah,
I
thought I was in church.
I think he's ready for the season to get going. So I enjoy hearing him, and just to see Bill Belichick as a former New England resident. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Okay, and Chris, what was your favorite thing? Because we really have to end it because the next show's starting in 5.
I'm going to say breakfast was great. Lunch was great. I'm having a hard time finding the lunch and breakfast around here this week. I love that.
Yeah, it's not free.
Nothing against food here. Just kidding. But
I mean, you cook your own food, so.
I know, but no, I think it was great to see everybody and who we knew, and and we made contacts over the years, and it's great to see coaches like Frank Wright, who I know because he's a Maryland kid, and I know the history of him with his comebacks, and one of them came from the Orange Bowl against Miami, and we don't talk about that in my house at all because that's banned. Same thing as Candy, even the Doug Flutie game is banned too, because if I say the word Doug Flutie, my brother will go bonkers. And secondly, it was funny. Side note: we went to Notre Dame one year, my brother and I, and it was Notre Dame in Miami, and I was on the sidelines watching Brad Kaya trying to score a touchdown for Miami in Notre Dame, and he throws an interception. I turn around and I see everyone in the Notre Dame guys clapping, going "Yeah!" and I see my brother going like this.
That's funny.
And I still remember that in my brain, that every time I turned around and I looked in the crowd and I found him, and he was like, I'm like, that was just priceless. I should have took a picture of that because I told him that all the time. I said, every time I see you, I turn around and I just look at you and I have your response in my head going, that's the break.
So I'm going to interrupt you because we do have to end it like ASAP. But
Okay.
I think my favorite part was seeing everybody. But it was honestly, for me, the absolute best ACC kickoff I've experienced. I got to see Jackie Carson for a minute, Candy.
Awesome.
I saw Brandon, who helps facilitate Jackie's appearances on our show. I got to see so many people that I really think a lot of. I got to interview Ron and Craig James again.
You got to see Adam.
And I'm trying to get in touch with his daughter, Courtney, to come on to talk about what it's like to do social media for NFL and college level sports. So hopefully we can make that happen. But everybody, check us out in the next 5-10 minutes, Candy, at South Florida Tribune for Inside the Pigskin, when the topics will be a surprise to me.
Well, that's right.
Adam and Chris will have to have you guys on again. And everybody, we're working on getting some more guests next week as well. And yes, is on the private chat. Perfect. And check Chris out on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. But whenever he says I'm coming on, don't always believe him because sometimes he leaves me hanging in the back room.
Oh,
so,
wait a minute.
Hey, first of all, the last time we had you on with Dan, it was like the voice of Jen. It was like one of those.
It was the voice of Jen.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. Like, how did I figure something out? He has to help me with something now.
Jen.
I was like, Jen, are you there? Yes.
Somebody has tapped into our internet and on our laptops.
Well,
thanks everybody. I gotta go.
All right, bye, guys.
Hey,
it's been a privilege, and thank y'all. And I love seeing you guys last week. Candy, I'll see you in a few minutes.
Jen,
All right, have a good show, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.